Ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum. Hi, bum, 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 ba-da-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-ba-dum, da-dun, 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 dun, da-dun, da-dun, dun. Ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dun, da-dun, da-dun, dun, da, da-dun, dun. Bum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dun, da-dun, da-dun, dun, da, da-dun, dun. Da-dun, da-da-dum, ba-da-dun, da-dun, da-dun, dun, da, da-dum, bum, bum, bum. Hello, my friends. Hello, Mighties. Hello, Facebook Live people. It's so wonderful to see you all here. Hi, Harry. Hi, Rechna. Hi, Leanne. It's so great to see you. It's so wonderful. I see people from Florida, of course, Oklahoma, Michigan, Tennessee. Anyone know where to get gunpowder 3? That's a remedy, my friends. We're not selling armaments here. So, yep. Where else are we seeing people from here? Wisconsin, you bet. Wonderful to see everyone. Let's see. Facebook Live friends. It's wonderful to see you all. Thank you for joining me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese, and I'm here every Monday evening at 8 p.m. to do one thing and one thing only. That is to share what I know about homeopathy. And since I've been a practitioner for 34 years, 33 years. I can never keep it all straight. And I've been teaching this for even longer than I've been practicing. I'm here to tell you what I know and to share it. And for you to get as much information as you possibly can. And I'm hoping I have a lot of writer downers for you tonight. For those of you who do know me, thanks for being here. It's great to see you all. Thanks for inviting me into your home every Monday, and so that we can build this community, keep this community going. So, what do you think? Macron lost his majority today. What do you think? Watch out, Justin. Watch out. Things may change for you too. Yep. And the dominoes perhaps start falling. Let's just see. Interesting. We shall see what comes of this next, right? Okay, so I want to tell you that 2 years ago, this Friday, we launched our Mighty Members group. And believe it or not, we have nearly 4,000 of you. Yes, my friends, 4,000 in 2 years, just a little bit less than 4,000, 3,600, 3,800, something like that. So, and it's pretty darn exciting. What's exciting is that I see something that I used to believe was obscure, homeopathy, that I thought most people would not be interested in. And there was a time when they weren't. It felt like I was talking to myself for decades. But now the time has come. Because we have people who want to dictate to us how we should handle our health and our family's health. They want us to line up and accept. So things are changing now. And I've always felt that homeopathy should be in the hands of a particular group of people. Who might they be? Homeopathy needs to be in the hands of the mothers, the grandmothers, and the caretakers in general. Homeopathy needs to be in the home. Homeopathy. Not that that word has anything to do with it, because homeo in the word homeopathy means similar or like homonym. But isn't it convenient? Does not mean home remedies by any stretch of the imagination, but it does belong in the home. Now, if medical doctors and clinics and etc. want to use it, by all means, and all over the world they use it, except for Canada and the US. Isn't that funny? Well, also China. Wow, what do we all have in common? Anyway, let's talk about one other thing I want to mention, and that is that we are launching our second year coming up this coming week. Second year for those who are interested in joining our academy. It's a 1 year long program, and it's a deep dive. It's very intense. In fact, it's many, many hours per week of study, and then meeting with your fellow students, and then with me once a week. And there's homework, and there's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, right, Leanne? Leanne says, I will not comply. Yes. um, so if you are even thinking about it and you have not gotten anything from us in your email box, then certainly contact my office, and we will make sure that you learn more about this academy. I am trying to prepare something important. I think we need homeopaths on every corner. And the best way to do that is to train homeopaths. And that's precisely what this academy is intending to do. Some people, not unlike Leanne, have already been in practice for many years and still joined in the academy. Others are new to homeopathy. Others have used it for years, but want to up their game and really understand how to use it for their families, their community, opening a practice, etc. That's what it's all about. All right. Enough about that. Let us talk about the business at hand tonight, and that is long haul COVID. Fatigue, weakness, not feeling yourself, or people you know are not feeling themselves. And that's what we're going to discuss tonight. Now, one of my favorite medicines for a long haul is something that I've been using, and it has been very useful for a lot of people. And if you open up my Materia Medica, I was studying from the Materia Medica for a couple of years, and now we've kind of finished working in here. Go back to it again from time to time. But here's the Materia Medica. Should you be interested at any time, you can contact my website and you can purchase this. So let me just say, before I get into the remedies, I want to show you something. I'm going to show you directly from Robin Murphy's repertory. Now, this needn't be part of your library, although I would like it to be someday. If you take homeopathy seriously, then you would purchase a book like this. The Meta Repertory by Robin Murphy. It's an excellent rendition of the repertory. There are many repertories. This one is the newest version of his, the newest edition. It's the fourth edition, and it also happens to be so voluminous. I mean, I don't know how many pages there are, 2,600, 2,600 plus pages. And so what I would do if I didn't know, although I know these medicines and I know what to use, what I would do is look under the generals or clinical, excuse me, and I would look under ailments from I would look under fatigue because that is the main condition. And so if you look here, this is where fatigue is. Can you see that? Fatigue right there. I'm going to hold it up. They're not sentences because that's not the way a repertory is written. It doesn't give you potency. It doesn't give you frequency. It just gives you the names of the medicines that have been found to be useful in cases of general fatigue. But then I get my finger and I go down that column thusly, and I look down here with faint feeling. So if somebody has a faint feeling as a result of long haul, then I'm going to look at the medicines in that rubric. But what I like start at fatigue and go down to influenza. Now, some might argue, but this isn't influenza. And I argue, how do you know? How do we know? We don't really know. That test that's been around has not been very, shall I say, efficacious, not very dependable. We don't really know what we're looking at, but it sure seems like the flu, doesn't it? And it's not uncommon for flus and influenza to have a long haul. Now it's a new word to most people, long haul. It's not a new word. We've known about ailments from as a result of long-term fatigue, or excuse me, long-term colds, long-term influenza. Look, they're viruses. And so that's how I'm looking at this. And so when I look at that, I see from influenza, fatigue from influenza. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll read them to you. Arnica, interesting, isn't it? Carcinosin, gelsemium is in bold print. Gelsemium, one of our best medicines for ailments from after a cold, after a flu that remain. And what are those ailments? Fatigue, fatigue, fatigue. Califas, phosphoric acid. I'm going to remind you, my friends, for those of you who know enough about homeopathy, to always think about that. But when we think of fatigue, we often think of acids, phosphoric acid, silica and thuya. Now, I'm going to open up my materia medica here, and I'm going to read to you. I'm going to read gelsemium to you, okay? Because it's such a great medicine for fatigue after a cold, flu, what a virus, whatever it might be. Now, we're not talking about a virus such as herpes. We're talking about a virus that affects the sinuses, the upper and lower respiratory, the throat, the ears, that whole area that people think of when they think of getting a cold. Okay, so the keynotes that I wrote in my materia medica here is draggy and droopy. So gelsemium represents the common appearance of the flu. It is best learned as the D remedy. I know it begins with a G, gelsemium, but I still think of it as a D remedy. Drowsiness, duskiness, draggy, depressed, double vision, droopy eyes, diplopia, dull, dazed, dizzy, dread, distressed, and a drunken like appearance. Kind of says it all in terms of fatigue. The sufferer is exhausted and weak both physically and mentally, and the face has a dusky color. There is a distinct heavy sensation in the body or the limbs. That's exactly what's reported to me on a regular basis about this post viral condition. Even the slightest movement seems to require Herculean effort and will exhaust the person. So the person is easily exhausted. Gelsemium. Now, I'm going to add a couple of other medicines to this. Well, let me just say this. What would I do? I would use Gelsemium 30, and I would use it twice daily until we see the fatigue melt away. Not a month later. We should see a change within a few days. Sometimes we see a change within the first couple doses, but we want to see a change within a couple of days. And if we don't see a change in the first few days, then I would switch gears and move to another medicine. Because generally, if this is what we think it is, it's not a thyroid condition, right? It's an ailment from from a previous respiratory condition. So gelsemium is my first choice. Gelsemium 30, twice a day if it's rather milder version. If it's very severe, maybe the first day every few hours, and then open it up. Now, I still like phosphoric acid. I like thuya. Thuya is a great medicine, my friends, for viruses in general. So I want you to remember that. But this year, sometimes each year, we see viruses come in, flus, colds, etc., come in. It's actually cold in here. The air conditioning is so low that I'm freezing. We see some medicines that show up time and time again that could be of value. And one of them is nausea. NAJA, nausea. Now, I've used nausea in a 200, but I have a dear student and becoming a friend who uses it her name is Leanne. She's right here today. And she uses it in a 1M. Now, nausea 1M is best, just like any of these medicines, is if you can catch the conditions sooner rather than later, you'll have better results. So we don't want to wait and then say, okay, well, now I'll try something. It's best if you can start right away, but it doesn't mean that it won't act if it started even a little bit later. And then another medicine that I really had not used ever, but it seems to be showing up. And again, my student Leanne, who's in the academy, talks about quebracho. And Quebracho is a particularly interesting medicine. It's spelled Quebracho. Quebracho. And what I like about this particular medicine, besides the fact that it has fatigue and it's post viral fatigue, is that it has issues around the heart. Is that, and so does nausea for that matter. We'll talk about nausea again in a moment. So I'm going to read some of the segments that I've got here on Quebracho from, again, Robin Murphy. But now, instead of it being the repertory, it is his Materia Medica, Nature's Materia Medica. Excellent volume. Again, voluminous, heavy textbook. For those of you who are taking homeopathy seriously, I urge you to consider getting these two books and add them to your library. All right, let's talk about this medicine, because what I love about it is that there was actually a recorded case by J.P. Cobb, a case of heart affection of some duration in a man age 24. Age 24, heart conditions. Heart condition at the age of 24. Is that not fascinating, my friends? Because that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing young men with endocarditis, pericarditis, um, heart conditions that are serious, cardiac arrest in athletes, young men. And so there was some heart enlargement. Mhm. I don't mean to laugh, but there are so many coincidences that they all kind of fall together, don't they? Especially of the right side, much dyspnea and slight mitral murmur. So this doctor, Joseph Cobb, used Quebracho, and it was successful. But it's also a very important remedy for fatigue and what was the other? Let me just find this in here. I'm going to find this for you so I can read it to you. Respiratory paralysis, slowed heart, and paralysis of the limb, dyspnea, I said, in tuberculosis and pleurisy, but without influencing the fever. So there can be a fever in this as well when it's still alive and well. 1X relieved asthma with a livid face and dyspnea with cyanosis, if is frequently relieved by it following the were signs of emphysema and severe attacks of asthma. Rails were heard and pearls of rounded gelatinous masses were expectorated. Again, 3X gave more relief than any other remedy. 3X, it's probably a good choice. I have purchased it in other potencies. I have it in a 30, I have it in a 6. And these medicines can be purchased online. Now, you want to buy American, friends. American, British, German, and French. Please don't buy, sorry to say, from India. I've learned a lot by spending years in India, but I'm going to tell you that the stops are not as tight. So buy American, buy from Boron, buy from OHM. If you are a student of mine, you can purchase from OHM. Buy from Washington Homeopathics, from Hahnemann Pharmacy, from Helios in England, Thompson's in Canada. Okay. Yes, removes obstruction to the oxygenation of the blood by stimulating respiratory centers, increases oxygenation and excretion of carbonic acid. Yes. Thank you, Leanne. She's expounding on this further, and it is a very good medicine for. So we could use not just one of these medicines. It doesn't have to be just gelsemium. It doesn't have to be just. Doesn't it could be watching what is happening. And if we see this kind of breathlessness, just quebracho, then you're going to use quebracho, right? If you don't see that heaviness there, it weighing towards the use of that medicine, you might think maybe we'll use gelsemium because it's really just fatigue without dyspnea, etc. All righty. Let's see if we've got some questions coming in here. Oh, it's already 8:20. Is it not as this time goes by? Let's see. Okay. Amazing program, learning to so much in the academy. Thank you for saying that, Allison. Yeah, that's the goal, for you to learn a lot in the academy. The idea is for people to get to the point where they can use homeopathy with such aplomb, with such confidence that it will not matter what the condition is. It will become almost second nature to them. Listen, I still learn every day, but I do have confidence, and I have confidence that if I work at it, a case, if I don't know it right off the top of my head, and more often than not, I do. But if I don't, then I know that I'll be able to find the answer because know I know where to find the information. Um, Can you do a tutorial? I'm not sure. Well, I do tutorials. I'm not sure I know what you mean exactly by tutorial, but I have lots of classes and they're all online and you can watch them over and over and over again. Um, okay, let's just see here. Mighty members, you mighty members, feel free to send me. Okay, so that's for you to contact my office if you have questions. Gateway 2 covers how to read a repertory. Um, all right. I want to make sure I'm covering these questions. There is one in the discussions page labeled Joette's Social Center Tutorials, and we're all fatigued by the continuing virus, whether we've had it or not. No kidding. We're fatigued by the news. We're fatigued by um, Fouch face. Any suggestions for peripheral neuropathy that came on after, okay, after popular um, well, we're not going to go into neuropathy today because we're dealing with specific conditions. Anyone else here dealing with chronic burping since having it? Well, that's covered. Just look on my blog. Look, Joette Calabrese neuropathy, Joette Calabrese eructations, Joette. Listen, my friends, that's what I do all day long. I blog, put them up so that you have answers for free. So do look there. Um, okay, how about an older virus that induced narcolepsy? How old? 60 years ago? It matters not. There was nothing that I said here that would lead you to believe that there is a time limit. Nothing here says anything about a time limit. Never well since the flu in 1979. Why not? Why not use the medicines? Never well since the getting stuck in an elevator in 1964. Why? Absolutely. That's not these medicines, but it's medicines that we should consider for conditions that are psychological. It matters not, my friends. It matters not how old it is. Please discuss hair loss that comes after COVID. How about just looking Joette Calabrese, alopecia, or just hair loss? If you don't know the synonym, if you don't know the medical term, just Joette. It doesn't matter whether it was from a virus, hormonal shifts, after a baby, pattern, male pattern baldness, inherited. It does not matter. Look up these medicines on my blog. I give it all to you. I mean, it's amazing how much I've given you. I've been doing this blog every single Sunday night for almost 14 years. I've never missed a Sunday night posting it with the name of the condition, the remedy, the potency, and the frequency. Never missed one, even on the week that my mother died, even on the week my father died, because I write them in advance. So it is, you will learn a lot. If you just hang out on my blog, my friends, that's a course in itself. Okay. Robin Murphy's Nature Materia Medica. You got it. Yeah, we need to stop those who are grafting and selling remedies. You're absolutely right, Heidi. You need to get your remedies from very reputable pharmacies, manufacturing pharmacies. It makes a big difference. Okay. All righty. Any other questions that we've got? I'm right now looking at Facebook. What dose stops mean? I don't know what that means. I got yeah. I will tell you, when I worked in India for those years, I would go out and buy a homeopathic medicine from a homeopathic pharmacy in India in Calcutta, and I would get back to the clinic, and my dear friend, my doctor, she was a doctor, medical doctor, and homeopath, would say to me, "Oh, what'd you buy?" And I said, "Oh, I just bought these homeopathic medicines." And she said, "Oh, throw them away. Do not use anything except those medicines that are um, that are from our clinic." So the Banerjee clinic does not sell to the public. Buy American. Okay, British you can buy from Helios. Got it? No remedies from India. Can I tell you whether they're good or not? I can't tell you. I don't know what pharmacy it is, and I don't do the research on them. Um, has anyone suffered from sudden hearing loss in one ear before? What should I use to help? Doctor says it's viral. Joette Calabrese, hearing loss. See how this works, my friends? It doesn't mean you can't get help from others, but look, just go to the blog. And you don't even have to go to the blog. You just need to put my name into your browser, and you will find articles I've written for other bloggers. You'll find articles that I've written for the Weston Price Foundation for 13 years. So that's the way you learn a lot of this stuff. All righty. Fouch face, you got that right. Loss of taste and smell. Very good. Lots of good input, lots of good questions. I've been following your blog since the beginning. It's been a lifesaver. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Linda, for saying that. That's what I try to do. Listen, I have gained a lot with this medicine. I raised my children with it. Never, ever with anything except homeopathy. Some herbals, that's it. No supplements. Well, I gave them cod liver oil or those kinds of things, but no vitamins, never a drug, never an over the counter drug. They were born at home. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I'm going to tell you that all this other stuff that is now finally coming up to be questioned is what would I call smokescreen. This is the real medicine, my friends. This is the real medicine. This is the medicine you thought you were getting when you went to the doctor. Because didn't you imagine that if you had a urinary tract infection, that you'd get a medication and be gone? Did you have any idea that it would only be gone for a short period of time and then only to come back a month later with a little more vengeance to it, a little more punch, and then more antibiotics, and then 2 months later, 5 months later, back again, and then what's being blamed? You, you. I'll never when my aunt went, she had a urinary tract infection, got the antibiotic, urinary tract infection, got the antibiotic. And you know what the doctor told her? She kept saying, "Why is this happening?" Never making the connection that had it been corrected the first time and not had the antibiotic used over and over and over again, that it would just be done. Um, he said, "You're wiping the wrong way." Yeah, she's an idiot. She was an idiot. You know what I mean? And he was going to teach her sanitation. Cracks me up. So you have a urinary tract infection. You do this. Joette Calabrese UTI. Joette Calabrese bladder infection. That's how we do it. And then you learn the medicines and you own them. And my friends, when you go to my blog and you look at the name of the remedy, it will be in blue. And that shows you that it's a link. It links you to places that we have found, at least when the article is often to boron, sometimes to Amazon. I'm sorry, that does make it easier for a lot of people. Walmart carries them. And I do not get any kickbacks. I need you to know that. I don't get kickbacks. It's been offered, but I do not have any affiliate programs with any pharmacies because then that would taint how I approach this and how I teach this to you. What I want is it is this is the information, this is the medicine, and this is how to use it. Okay. Quabracho is easier to find in a 30th potency than in mother tincture. Yes, absolutely. You bet. This is wonderful. I see. I love when people are helping each other, and that's what we do in the gateway study groups. That's what students do in their groups from the good gut, bad gut, and all of those courses. That's where people learn how to share their information and help others, and then get help. It's so fascinating because a lot of times, as you can see, people are from all over the world who follow this information, who follow me, and when they join a study group and someone is from Australia or South Africa or Switzerland and they need help, they simply contact their friends who are in their study group. And it's such a different time of day that it might be 3 in the morning in one part of the world and only 11 at night in the other part of the world. And they help each other. Talk about community. This is the way it happens, my friends. This is the way we do it. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to finish this up by saying these medicines that I've just told you about are not the only ones. They are not. And I want you to know that. I just chose one rubric in the repertory. And all it was regarding fatigue. If there was an ailment from taste or the taste is distorted or loss of taste, we're also going to look in that section in the mouth under taste and see what medicines show up and see if there's a cross section between the taste medicines and the fatigue medicines. And now we can get a tighter and tighter picture. But I don't want you to have to go that far if you're not that well versed in homeopathy. If you don't have a repertory, if you don't have a materia medica, no worries. Just take this information and jot it down. These are everything we've talked about tonight is a writer downer. And so, my friends, wonderful to see you. I look forward to seeing you next week, as always, and God bless all of you. Mwah. Good night, and see you next Monday. Bye. Oh, I was going to do that thing.